Since January, Ukraine has been pounding Russian refineries with drone attacks. There are different opinions on how successful those attacks were. We could look at how many refineries Ukrainians managed to reach with their drones, and by that measure, the attacks were quite successful. There was probably 13 or 15 major refineries touched or impacted by the attacks, and up to 1,000 miles. If we look at monetary or strategic value of the attacks, well, that's a mixed bag. The attacks themselves were probably relatively low cost to implement. The drones used probably might cost $50,000 to $100,000 per piece. Probably there was a wave of drones to allow one or two to reach their target. So an attack might cost something like $1 million, but the damage caused to the refineries themselves was $5 to $50 million a piece. What's important to understand, the drones couldn't cause a major fire or explosion in the refinery. They could only damage the actual unit they were targeted at. And the last measure is whether the attacks would have strategic effects. I guess the hopes were that the fuel supply to the Russian economy, to the Russian army, to the Russian experts would be substantially disrupted, and that didn't happen. One of the reasons is that Russia has a huge refining sector, so it's difficult to create a dent in that supply. Russia managed to divert exports from oil products to crude oil, so export revenues didn't suffer as well. So when it comes to strategic and long-lasting effects, probably that success was rather limited. One of the effects, of course, is these attacks are making Russian army to spread its air defense assets away from the front lines to the refineries, which is also beneficial to Ukraine.